The motto of Namaste is loyalty gets rewarded. So I've been assessing loyalty in many ways.
Hello, hello, and welcome back to The Wave. Today we are here with Solana Sensei. Namaste, Sensei. I hope you're having a spectacular day. How's it going?
Namaste, guys. Namaste. Much love. Um, Everything's going great. We're in Spain right now. Beautiful weather, and just trying to focus on myself a little bit and focus on the project before we release it. And And yeah, super excited with everything. Happy, grateful. I'm feeling blessed and super happy to get to talk with you guys. You guys have amazing energy and I can already feel it. So I'm looking forward.
Yeah,
That's awesome. That's
absolutely.
awesome. Yeah, it's really a pleasure. I'm Wookie, just for the formalities. We've been talking before the recording started for a little bit, so we know that already. But it's
Yeah,
really a pleasure, and I mean that like honestly, man. It's you're such an important person in this space, and you're just preaching good vibes all the time. So it's real nice to be here with you. Um,
much love, much love.
much love. I want to start things out. I do have a question in mind for you. So, like I think you're a totally different take on an influencer that what we're accustomed to. There's so much like negativity and just clout chasing regarding influencers, and you just take a totally different approach. Like, what is your technique? How do you describe your journey as an influencer in the crypto and Solana space in general?
I would say that I think the main reason for that is because I never wanted to be an influencer. I never, attempted to become one. It was not in my plans. And to be honest, it was not expected either. It just sort of happened. In the beginning, for those who have been in Solana since the very beginning, since the first project in Solana ever. Um, Back then, I was called Soulpunk Sensei, and some people know me by that name because we used to like trade soul punks. And back in the OG days, it was like the top project at the moment. It was the sort of project that had the most volume and the most excitement. And it just started with soul punks, really. I was just trying to help people. I thought I was good at what I was doing. I had memorized all the different trades. I was having so much fun. I thought this was like I don't know, the most entertaining way to make money ever. And I was literally just memorizing all the different trades and just consistently refreshing on Solana back then. Uh, well, before Solana, we didn't even have a marketplace, so I would just like look at everything manually. But yeah, I think that's how it sort of started. I thought I was good at what I was doing, and I thought I could help people. And that's the initial intention. That's how Sensei started. I was Soulpunk Sensei, not even Solana Sensei. But when the ecosystem started growing so fast and new projects started coming out, I realized that if I wanted to help the most people possible, I had to also expand my name in a way. And, I didn't want to just limit myself to soul punks. And since I was early, I thought, okay, if more projects are going to keep on coming, then I might as well adapt to this market. And I remember rebranding to Solana Sensei, which for me was like a big step because I thought, wow, now it's not only soul punks and the ecosystem is growing fast. So I was a little bit concerned in a way because I was happy with soul punks back then. I just thought that, you know, just by focusing in one project, I could be successful at it. But then I realized that, change was inevitable and this ecosystem was going to keep on evolving very fast. And so I easily had to, I quickly had to become detached from soul punks. And I realized that I had to look at the bigger picture. And that's why I became Solana Sensei. And I just kept on helping people. That was always the goal. Just helping people and doing my best to, in the beginning, I thought that people only cared about money and that they wouldn't listen to me if I talked about spirituality, although it was already, a fundamental part of my life. And it always has been. but I just knew that most people would ignore me if I only talked about spirituality and I only tried to spread good vibes. I thought that people didn't care about that and people were only looking for money. So I thought, let me wait for that. Let me try to help people first in whichever way they want, which may be just money. And then eventually, if I ever, you know, gain a voice in this ecosystem, then I'll be able to spread love and do the things that I really want to do. And so I kept on helping people unconditionally, replying to DMs, giving advice to people that didn't know anything about the space, people that were coming from Ethereum back then, and literally just onboarding as many people as I could. And so I just started somehow gaining an audience. People started following me, people started appreciating my content, and without me even expecting it or planning it, Solana Sensei started growing faster and faster, and and here we are. But yeah, I think it all comes from the fact that I never needed or wanted to become an influencer. It was always about helping people first, and then as a result of that, I somehow gained followers. But it was not the main thing, you know? While nowadays people do it the other way around. They DM me and they ask me, how can I get more engagement? How can I get more followers? How did you do it? And it's like, I cannot help you with that. It was never my intention, you know? I never tried to gain this platform or this voice. It just happened as a result of giving. And people do it the other way around. They think that you need to first, create this entire game plan to gain followers or to earn engagement, and it just comes from selfishness. It's not really. It never ends well if it comes from pure ego. But if you do it unconditionally, if you do it from a standpoint of being selfless, then whatever comes out of that is always positive, and it's always going to end well for everybody involved. And I guess that's just what happened with Solana Sensei.
Yeah, it's that authenticity, right?
Yeah, also, I know that most people aren't like me. And this is in real life. It's not even Web3. In real life, whenever I'm with people, I know that most people do not relate with me on a spiritual level. Although I know that unconsciously they do. And somewhere within them, they can resonate with anything I say. And that's really the power of spirituality and the power of understanding who you are at a very deep level. That allows you to communicate with any person in this world from a very profound and genuine point in which you know they can understand you. You know that they are just a reflection of yourself, and you see them as as part of this oneness rather than creating division between me and my audience or me and whoever's reading my tweet. I know that to a certain degree they can all resonate with what I'm saying. And I think that's the most special way to communicate with human beings. It should be um, through awareness. It should be through awareness of this ultimate being that we all are and that we, all share.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more with you. And I think that, it's kind of like a universal language, right?
Yeah,
Spirituality, I mean, everyone has at least some form of that, right? Whether you're part of this religion, that religion, or no religion, everyone has, that one thing that they can resonate with. And I think that's super powerful, especially in spreading messages.
exactly. Exactly. Yeah. And and that's really, I think, what Sensei tries to do in the space. And what I'm also trying to do with Namaste, with my upcoming collection. It's really about, finding this common ground that every single human being has on Earth, and every living being and every non-living being, and just being able to communicate through that common ground, and basically unifying everybody rather than strengthening the division and the greed and the ego that's already within us, trying to connect once again, to bring everyone together in that common ground.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a very common like ideology in between the people that tend to travel a lot. I don't know if I'm mistaken or not, but in my personal experience, like I've seen that a lot of my friends or just acquaintances that have lived in different places in the world have that sense of like we're all the same to an extent, even though our cultures can be so different. Do you think like that has like travel has shaped that ideology in you in a way, or was it always like this
Wow.
even prior to that?
Yeah, wow. I'm so glad you brought that up. And I'm impressed, to be honest, that you've realized and you've noticed that, because it's definitely true. And that's why I always recommend people that they travel a lot. Because like ultimately traveling, what it does to you is you're getting out of your comfort zone. You're going to places that seem to be different to your, maybe to your, to your habitual environment. And what you end up realizing is that no matter where in the world you travel to, um, it's ultimately always the same place. There's something that never changes. So by understanding change, you're able to you're able to identify the changeless, and that's really the power of traveling. And excuse me, um, that's what I would say. Like in my personal life, I've traveled a lot since I was a kid, and I think that's definitely something that has allowed me to sort of transcend many barriers of illusion that other human beings may not have transcended yet. And and it's definitely something that helps you and facilitates your spiritual journey. Something that anybody can do, regardless of whether you have money or not. You can still get out of your comfort zone. And I would definitely say that, I lived in Puerto Rico, I lived in Argentina, I lived in Spain, Netherlands, I lived in Switzerland, I even lived in Indonesia for a little bit, for half a year. So I've just constantly, and I'm very young. I'm not going to say my age, but I'm quite young. So considering my age, when you look at all the locations that I've been in, it's like on average, I've been traveling, like every 2 years or so, I think I would move to another place. If you look at my whole life, which is quite a significant amount, because like 2 years is not actually much. And I know that many friends of mine, for example, they stay maybe 10 years, 15 years, or their whole life in one place. Like even people from my family in Argentina, right? They have been in Argentina forever. They never went anywhere else. Maybe a few of them were lucky enough and they went to study abroad, but then they come back. And so their whole life just revolves around one place. But the more you move, the more you travel, you start to realize that, the whole world is home. And there's no city or place that really feels like home. You don't need to limit yourself to a particular place. You can go anywhere and pretty much be a nomad, and you always feel at home with who you are beyond a particular location. So it allows you to sort of go one step further into who you are, and to not only, basically it encourages you to continue seeking discomfort and seeking change and accepting it, rather than resisting it and rejecting it in your life, which is what many people do, because many people love maintaining their habits. They love this routine, they feel comfortable in it, they're super cozy, and they don't want to break that. It hurts their ego to break that, that comfortable space. And I think one of the most rewarding things one can do is to break those habits and break those comfortable spaces. And as soon as you identify them, then break them again. And just always seek change and accept it, because it allows you to once again find the changeless.
Of course, yeah, and it definitely reflects on your emotional intelligence as well. That ability to adapt to change. I'm with you 100% with everything you said, pretty much. I do
Yeah.
want to circle back to the soul punks thing and your starts in the ecosystem. There is a pin tweet on your profile that said you made over $1 million in 3 months with an initial 10K investment. Was that with soul punks, or how did that happen?
Yeah, that was in the early days, and Slowpunks was, I would say, probably one of the most rewarding investments for me because, it was in the beginning when I didn't have much, and I was pretty much risking all the money that I had in crypto, which was all my money really, because whenever I earned real money, I would invest it back into Solana or back into crypto. And I found out about Soulpunks through a friend, and I decided to pretty much go all in because I felt like it was a sign. I was struggling quite a bit at that time, and I thought, if this doesn't work, then nothing else will. And it was just a leap of faith. I just knew intuitively. I just knew that this was it. I wouldn't be able to explain how. I don't know if other people are even capable of understanding this or experiencing it, but it just felt very intuitive. So I just went for it, invested everything into it, and then after a couple of weeks, I think, I started flipping because I didn't have much, right? So I had to initially flip to earn more Solana and just wanted to accumulate it because I felt like Solana could go up. And I started flipping more and more, and then I started buying more until, I realized, wow, like this is insane. I was making quite a lot of money for what I was used to, and I thought, let me ask my parents for money. And so I even got my parents on boarded. I got my grandma on board. They started like, kind of helping me with this, and and that also helped me a lot, right? Because I was able to get more expensive investments, but I would flip them for more. So then overall, I was making a lot more money thanks to my parents and thanks to my family that supported me and they believed in me. And then they made a lot of money. I made a lot of money. And Soulpunks was really the beginning of something huge because after Soulpunks, I minted SMBs and then I minted that Genapes. And, I flipped many of those. I held on to many of those too. But I think, yeah, with Solana Monkey Business, I definitely made a lot of money as well. Soulpunks was the main one to start with, but then Dejan Apes, yeah, those were the ones that really kind of made it for me. Um, I made a lot of money with Dejan Apes. I think that's the project that I made the most money with. Um, and then probably Soulpunks as well. Because I remember Solana was going up while I was accumulating more Solana simultaneously. So it was the perfect combination. And it's something that I miss and something that many people have not even witnessed and many people wouldn't even think it's possible to see Solana going up while NFTs go up. Because nowadays it's literally the opposite. If Solana goes up, NFTs go down. If Solana goes down, NFTs go down. like it's not the same as before. But I think it will come back, and in the bull run, we'll be able to see that sort of movement again. But it was really a blessing. It just felt like I was playing a game, and everything was super intuitive. I just went all in after all in. I didn't take out any money, even though I was pretty much broke in real life. I didn't have anything, but I was earning so much money through these, imaginary JPEGs that it was just absolutely insane, and it felt like a dream, and I was really dreaming. Um, I was completely conscious of how illusory everything was and how simple it was to play this game of life that it just felt like a lucid dream, and it still does today. But now, we just have a bear market, so we're just pretty much waiting for the bull run and building what we can.
Yeah, and you mentioned Degen Apes, and of course, you have an iconic profile picture of the custom Sensei degenerate ape. Can you tell us a little bit about how
Yeah.
the process was for getting that, and kind of how it makes you feel to have one of the few 69 uh, degenerate apes customs?
Yeah, wow. I mean, I remember when I first started seeing all these custom apes, I thought like, wow, these are insane. First of all, like Mono is still one of my favorite artists in Solana. He's always been my top artist, and for some reason I just resonate so much with these apes. You know, the first time I saw them, I just knew they were gonna blow up, and it was obvious, right? Like I remember joining Solana with and like trading Solpunks, and you know they're pretty much a copy of CryptoPunks, right? And they're pixelated, and I thought like, okay, this is cool and everything. I enjoy it a lot, but when I saw Dead and Apes, I felt like, wow, like I have never seen anything like this, and this is like another level. Like the art is, you know, it's really like high quality art, and I thought they were perfect. They had like a cool narrative. They were playful. They were funny. The whole culture around it was perfect. It had the perfect brand. Everything made sense to me. So I remember when they were, you know, still figuring out. I think they were doing like trade. They were doing like these trade. What are they called? Like they were asking basically followers to create different trades, and there was like a, I
Like a
don't know. I don't know if it
contest.
was, yeah, like a contest, some sort of contest, and they would give you something. I don't know if they were giving whitelist spots or what it was, but but yeah, it was super early, and the art was just insane. I remember looking at that and thinking, yeah, these guys are gonna be the number one. There's no way Soulpunks can be number one with these guys coming out, and that's when I realized, okay, fuck, like I love Soulpunks. I was having a lot of fun, but I'll have to adapt. You know, it's not gonna last forever. It's not only gonna be Soulpunks like it has been. And, yeah, so my bad. I drifted off a little bit. But going
No
back
worries.
to going back to the profile picture. Um, yeah, I've always had a lot of love for them. I've minted like 12 of them um, on the day of the mint. I remember my friend came running to my room. We were in Bali. I was sleeping. He came running, knocked on the window, and said, "The mint is live." I got a message from another friend who told me they suddenly changed the date and the time, and it's coming live in like a few minutes. Get ready. And I was like, you know, I quickly got up. I like poured some water on my face real quick, um, pulled out of my laptop and just went straight into the website, you know, and and I was so happy I managed to mint some. Even my grandma minted them, which was crazy because I had to do it. I had to do it for her, right? It wasn't even her. It's like I was minting through like I don't know how many windows, and and I was so happy that my grandma also got some because I knew that she was gonna make money, and I had, you know, I told her like, you know, I think this will definitely work, so trust me. And and yeah, so minted that. It went great, and then after that, I realized, you know what? These guys will live forever. I'm manifesting it. I thought like, I don't care what happens. I don't care how many projects can come out. I don't care what sort of art they come up with or what culture they create. These guys will never die. The history, the culture, the art, they're gonna live forever. And I decided on that day, like, you know what? If there's one project that I would support with my entire life forever until the day I die, it's Dead Apes. There was no other project that I felt that I could deeply connect with and that I was truly grateful for. Dead Apes had really, you know, pretty much set me up for life. They were the project that took me out from a hard situation that I was in, and in a way saved me financially. And I thought, the least I could do was in some way give back to them. And I was supporting them throughout the journey. And I remember reaching out to Mono, and I was the one that proposed it to him, I believe. Yeah, I think it was me. And I literally told him, look, you know that I've been here since the OG days. I minted 12 apes. We've been together for a while. I'm never gonna stop supporting you guys. And, and I was also like one of the whales at the time. And I felt like, you know what? I don't know if this is cool by you, but I want to represent Dejan Apes, forever. And I have a very cool idea for a profile picture, and I would love to just let your creative juices flow, and I would love to let you improvise on this idea. And if you like this, then I would, it would be an honor to represent Dejan Apes forever. And I knew at the time that, I would keep that profile picture forever because I know how I am and I know how loyal I am in that sense. And when I tell someone and I give them my word and I tell them, look, I'll be supporting you forever, I really mean it. And if you look at other custom PFPs, most of them, even if they were given to influencers or some of these top, I don't know, top accounts on Twitter, no, pretty much no one kept it. And that just shows how, like, I don't know, people have other priorities. And it is what it is. I feel like I wanted to prove to Dejan Apes that not only I'm super grateful, but also that, I'm gonna be loyal and I'm gonna support them pretty much until I die now, because everybody knows this profile picture. It has become iconic. It is easily identifiable by everyone in Solana, and it's sort of become my digital identity, right? And it really resonates with who I am, I feel, in the space and with my mission, and yeah, just the whole sort of concept of Sensei. So yeah, it was all thanks to Mono, but I also made the move. I was the one that texted him, and I sort of humbled myself because back then I don't know how many followers I had. I think I had maybe 20 or definitely less than 40,000 followers. And I just decided to go for it. I thought, like, I don't understand how no other Solana influencer has done this. This is the top project in my opinion. And I saw some people doing it for Solana Monkey business, so I thought someone has to do it for Dejan Apes. And I thought, like, okay, I can use a regular Dejan Ape, but I feel like it wouldn't have the same impact if I was able to have a proper custom Sensei Ape. And so I just went for it. I had no doubts that for some reason Mono would be able to trust me and to sort of, I don't know, believe in the potential of, giving Solana Sensei a custom ape.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think you by far have one of the best, if not the best, custom ape out there, and I think we can probably all agree. It's iconic. It's just a beautiful masterpiece by the man himself. And I do want to ask you something else. Switching the subject just a little bit. We all know that your project is on the way. Namaste. Everybody is super excited. How does the whitelist selection process for those listening? How does that work? What are you looking for? Like, we know you're handpicking people, but tell us a little bit more about that.
So the whitelist process is very different to any other project, and it has never been done before, for sure. It's very intuitive, and some people would say it's highly subjective, and it pretty much is. But it's based on good intentions, and it's based on fairness as well. But there's a bunch of factors that I take into consideration, which I cannot pin the tweets here because it's not a spaces, but I have a bunch of tweets pretty much give you the sort of criteria that I have um, to obtain a whitelist. But the motto of Namaste is loyalty gets rewarded. So I've been assessing loyalty in many ways. I pretty much go over many profiles every day. I'm still doing this because there's still some whitelist spots left. But every day I'm checking different followers' profiles. I look at their energy. I look at what sort of comments they put out, what sort of energy they're putting out, how they communicate with other people. I check whether they've been engaging with Solana Sensei for a while, whether it's quality engagement, right? Not just an emoji as a reply or something like that. Although it's obviously valuable and I appreciate those replies, I try to like subjectively assess whether the person is really, I don't know, resonating with the spiritual values of Namaste. I try to see if people are wise or they show any degree of spiritual understanding, because ultimately Namaste is not for everybody. That's why it also has a very low supply, because I'm totally aware of the fact that most people do not truly understand what Namaste is about. They truly do not understand spirituality or what it means to even give unconditionally, simply because of how the world works right now and how transactional everything is and how everybody expects something in return. So I try to find people who are in some way spiritual and, or who have possibly been supporting me unconditionally when no one believed in me. There's many variables to it, and I really suggest that people check out the tweets that I've shared, because I think if you just search on Twitter, you put like from Solana Sensei, and then you put something like whitelist requirements or whitelist process or what is loyalty, you will find a bunch of tweets that will pretty much summarize everything. There's many other variables that I take into consideration, but it's highly intuitive, it's quite subjective, and yeah, I try to be fair with everybody. Um, I check, I have been checking thousands of profiles since over a year now. So it's crazy. It's the most challenging whitelist process that has ever been created.
Yeah,
And I think it will be worth it. I think, I don't know, we will be able to create a very unique community. And, and the fact that not everyone gets it, it's one of those things that I'm sad about, the fact that I cannot reward everyone. I wish I could, but I'm also, totally conscious of the fact that not everyone can be rewarded for this particular project. Not everyone is spiritual, and not everyone gets what Namaste is about. So I need to start small. I need to pretty much create or spread enough love and energy to 1,111 people so that they can keep on spreading this message. Because I
absolutely.
think
I couldn't.
Namaste is really about this huge message that transcends Solana, Web3, and NFTs altogether. It's something much bigger than that I'm trying to communicate, and I need 1,111 people that are, people that I can really trust, people that I can count with, and people that I know that can resonate or vibrate at a similar frequency, right? Because I know that most people don't, and that's totally fine and it's understandable. But yeah,
Yeah,
I
no, I
think that
think you
sort
hit
of gives you
the nail
an
on the head
idea.
there. I think it's a
Yeah.
perfect way to go about it. You're curating a community of, people who you've chosen, who, like you said, are on the same wavelength as you. And I think that value for you and for the holders, because, obviously a lot of these people have a lot of things in common. I think that's a value in there in itself.
Yeah, and I wanted to also avoid, like, the reason why so many projects have been failing is because it's not really about what happens post mint, but what happens pre mint, and like not enough founders care about how they're curating their community prior to the mint. So imagine what will happen after if they don't even care about what happens prior.
That's a
And
good
so
point.
I think it also comes from that side of things. I wanted to really know everyone that's in my project, personally know them, because the cool thing about this process is that I've DM'd every single person that's involved in Namaste. I know exactly their profile. I know who they are. I've probably even engaged with many of them in maybe 2020, 2021. I may know them from, I don't know, OG projects. We may have minted back in 2021. We may have been trading soul punks together when I had 2,000 followers. There's a huge variety of people that are involved in Namaste that are people that I can trust and people that I've already established that connection. But you look at other projects and the founder has not even, they just see numbers. There's no connection between the founder and every single holder. Also because they're larger collections, they may be 10K NFTs rather than 1,111. And so that's also a factor to take into consideration. But the point is that I think not enough effort is put into the hand-picking process in regards to whitelist. And they just do collaborations because they're really just trying to gather numbers and gather these so-called diamond hands, because they do a collaboration with, I don't know, Dejan Apes or Solana Monkey Business and all these blue chip projects because they assume that those people have more money or those people have a higher probability of not selling in the short term. But in the end, like at the end of the day, it doesn't really work like that, because some people put all their money into buying a blue chip NFT just to get the possibility of earning whitelist spots from other projects to dump them as soon as they come out. And so it doesn't really work like that anymore. And but founders don't really care about that because they just want to sell out and they just want to receive all the mint revenue and either deliver something or just soft rug or even hard rug. And that's sort of the reality we're in right now. And also part of the reason why, rather than taking from the ecosystem and promising something that, may or may not happen, I thought, let me give back to the ecosystem, promise absolutely nothing, and pretty much prove to them that they have nothing to lose. In fact, they can only win. So I switched everything around. I didn't want to take, I wanted to give. I didn't want to promise anything. And that's really what we're doing with Namaste. And I think it's working so far. I think people
Absolutely.
love it. They need a change, especially during the bear market.
Yeah, I think we're all super excited to see what's going to come out of this. It's definitely a different approach, more curated community. Like Wombat said, they all resonate within the same wavelength, and it's never been done before, really. Like everybody is just chasing that bag or soft rug or like you're saying, and I just think that this could definitely be something different that could work. And it might not even reflect in price, like I don't think that's even the end goal here. Because if you have a community that's like super positive, super cool with each other, like it's a network of people that are similar to you, that in the end of the day, that's more valuable than just a flip. So I'm
Definitely.
really bullish on what you're building, man. I don't want to cut us short, but we do have to wrap things up here. If you have anything else you want to add, Sensei, please feel free to go ahead. Wombat, same to you.
I mean, I think we've talked about a lot of good topics, and yeah, I don't know if there's anything else to add. I'm just I just want to say that I'm grateful for your time, and I'm very glad I got in here and we got to talk a little bit. Um, Super excited about Namaste. I love the community that we're building. Glad that you guys are also involved, and yeah, I just believe we're doing things differently, and we need a little bit of change right now.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And we're just gonna experiment and see what happens, but it cannot go wrong. I think when you have the good intentions and you do things in a selfless manner and you just give unconditionally, there's literally no way things can go wrong. Because that's just how the universe works. That's just how it's always been throughout, time.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. And like I said, super excited to see what's in the future for Sensei and for Namaste. I do want to thank you so much for your time as well. It's been an honest pleasure to have you here. Thank you for joining us. And well, this has been episode 5 with Solana Sensei. And thank you for joining us. Catch you next week.
See you
Much
guys.
love, guys.